Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters John Vias and Robert Paris, Peter Brown with the weather, and Gretchen Carey with the community calendar. Thank you for joining us. One of Burlington's most frequently asked questions, is Cambridge Street 2 or 4 lanes, appears about to be answered by the state. During a recent select board meeting, Town Administrator Paula Sagarino and DPW Director John Sanchez said the Massachusetts Department of Transportation is set to bring plans to the town to make Route 3A 2 lanes, one in each direction, much as like in Billerica, as well as embark on improving the conditions of the road and adding bike paths. Sanchez said the project will include sections of Cambridge Street, a state-owned road, from the bridge over the Shawshene River in Billerica to Burlington High School. He said the project does not include any widening of the road, but will instead narrow the street in areas other than those around stoplights to make it a single lane in each direction. Members of the board expressed concern that the change would increase traffic. Here is member Mike Runyon.
Let me just ask this one question. Is this a directive from them? This is what they're going to do, or we have an opportunity to tell them it's not working? And I'm only basing my concern on, I want to go back 8 or 9 years. I think we had DOT engineers here who predicted such a move would create an enormous gridlock in Burlington here. If we were to choose to do such a thing, has the philosophy changed?
Sanchez said a lot had changed over the years, and this plan would likely result in commuters finding other ways through town, and that could be the subject of questions from the board when Mass DOT appears before them. The Dunkin Donuts in Plaza 85 Wilmington Road was before the Board of Health on Tuesday night after being found in violation of a town policy aimed at ensuring all food preparation is safe. Health Director Susan Luminello explained that the restaurant had been found to be in violation of the town policy that all establishments that serve food must have a certified food safety manager on site at all times that they are open. This is more stringent than the state requirement that states all establishments must have that type of manager on staff at all times, but not necessarily in the building from open to close. She said the Dunkin Donuts in question had been found to be in violation of this policy for the second time after this year's annual inspection. Luminello said the board could take no action or vote to repeal the restaurant's permit to serve food until it was determined it was in compliance. A Mr. Savageau, the regional manager for the parent company, which operates over 40 locations in Massachusetts and Tennessee, said that since the learning of the violation, the company has taken steps to come into compliance. He said they have trained all managers and everyone who has opening or closing functions at the restaurant to be certified. Savageau said the violation was in part due to the restaurant's high rate of turnover since the start of the pandemic, but they are doing what they can to be in compliance and alleviate any concerns the board may have. Members of the board said they believe the restaurant to be now in compliance with town policy, but said a third violation would not be taken lightly. Burlington Public Health nurse Christine Pollock is set to retire from the Public Health Department and move on to her next chapter. BNews Director Rich Hosford went to speak to her and has this report.
As the saying goes, all good things come to an end. Burlington Public Health nurse Christine, or Chris, Pollock is set to retire at the end of the month and begin the next adventure of her life. Chris started working for the town in 2018 after a career in New Hampshire Public Health, where she had a variety of roles over the years. When she saw the opening to work in Burlington, where she grew up, she jumped on the opportunity to serve a town where she had many memories and personal connections.
My hometown. Always cared about the community and the residents here. I still have family and friends here, so it was a nice draw for me. It's not too far from my home.
Chris said that despite the challenges of working in public health the last couple of years, she values her time spent with the health department.
It has been a wonderful experience. Obviously during COVID, we had worked quite a bit and very closely together. It's a very team-oriented department. We're very close, and it's a great department to work for. We have great supervision. We have a wonderful board, and the people here care about what's going on in the town.
Chris said she also enjoyed working with the other town departments.
Everybody has been very friendly, open, very helpful. Everybody, will try to go out of their way to help you. I've noticed that, maintain quite a good relationship and rapport with a lot of the people in other departments. It has been a very, very, very great experience for me.
As she prepares to move on, Chris said that she will miss working for the town and the community, and that leaving is bittersweet.
It's going to be tough leaving. When you work with people day in and day out for, 4.5 years, and you become part of the team, it's going to be really, really hard to leave. I'm going to miss the department. This is like family here. We've worked very close together, obviously, through the pandemic for the last 2.5 years. It's a great job. It's a good learning experience. I learn something new every day. I'm constantly busy trying to do programs, trying to educate the public. I'm going to miss the person-to-person contact, socialization, and reaching out into the community and learning, about the residents and what their needs and wants are.
And finally, what are her plans for the future?
So I am retiring, not retiring as a nurse, so I will be semi-retiring. Probably, I have my master's in nursing education, so I may teach a course at a college level, or I just might sit back and maybe enjoy my retirement. I haven't really decided yet on what I'm going to do. I won't be working full-time, so I am going to be semi-retired. And I'm moving to Florida, so it's a new environment for me.
We wish Chris all the best in her retirement. From the Board of Health, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
This September, Burlington Town Meeting will vote a pair of warrant articles supported by the Planning Board that would greatly reduce the chance of new smoke shops opening in town. At last week's board meeting, Senior Planner Elizabeth Bonventre explained the board and department will bring zoning bylaw changes that would redefine smoke shops and limit them to a particular type of zoning. She said there is no intention to ban the sale of tobacco and tobacco products in town, and convenience stores and grocery stores will be able to sell them, and existing smoke shops should be allowed to remain open. What the zoning change would do is to take smoke shops out of general business districts and limit them to continuous traffic business district. This would make new shops opening in town difficult because, as Bonventre explained, there are only 3 parcels in town with that zoning: Burlington House of Pizza, the Midas Shop on Middlesex Turnpike, and the Speedway location. Further, any applicant seeking a smoke shop in any of these locations would also need a special permit from the Planning Board. As reported on BNews, the discussion came up at a recent series of board meetings where the group discussed a proposal to allow Cambridge Street Smoke Shop to open at 226 Cambridge Street in the town center. The fact that the location is adjacent to Schoolhouse Ice Cream and Yogurt and near the True North coffee shop sparked debate among some members about the nature of the business and whether it was appropriate in locations near where children are likely to congregate. Planning Board member Barbara LaRue said the intent of the proposed zoning bylaw changes is to give the town's legislative body a chance to weigh in on what has become a controversial subject. Here she is.
Correct in understanding, our goal here is to find out what the will of town meeting is on
Yes.
smoke shops, correct?
Yep.
We're not trying to impose our will upon the town, but it seemed to be a contentious issue when this came before us, so it seemed like a good idea to ask town meeting if they want smoke shops allowed or if they only want them available through special permit.
Any applications received prior to the passage of the zoning bylaws would be grandfathered under the old legislation. The Burlington Select Board is taking a look at strengthening the penalties for violation of the town's outdoor watering ban as much of the region continues to deal with very dry conditions. As reported by BNews on August 9th, the Mass Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs and the Drought Management Task Force declared that central and northeast sections of the state are now in level 3 critical drought. Look at your lawn, up from a level 2 significant drought. Last Monday, the Select Board received an update on the situation in Burlington from DPW Director Sanchez, who said the town needed to tweak the current ban on all automatic watering systems to include a restriction on watering lawns by hand. He said the watering of gardens, plants, and flowers is allowed as long as such activity is restricted to before 9 a.m. and after 5 p.m. Though Sanchez said most residents and businesses are complying with the watering ban, there have been some serial offenders. He said to some, the initial fee of $50 and subsequent fees of $100 is worth it, and people continue watering despite the ban. To help combat the violations, members asked if it was possible to increase the fines for watering. Town Administrator Sagarino said that was likely a viable option, but said his office should check with Town Council to get the details before any change is made. Still, members tried to stress the importance of complying with the watering ban, since failure to do so could have a detrimental impact on the town supply, which is already at a low point. Here is member Joe Morandi.
I don't think people understand the severity of the water drought we're having. Yes, we've had no rain, but like I try to explain to people, it's the water pressure that we're concerned with. If somebody's house gets on fire, there may not be enough pressure we'll put out the fire. I'm not saying we're not going to put out the fire, but there may not be enough pressure there to put it out in sufficient time that we could on a normal basis. I don't think the people in this town realize how urgent it is to have this water that we need. If you drive by 99% of the yards in town, everybody's brown, and all of a sudden you get a green grass, and I know he doesn't have special grass, and I know that something's going on at nighttime. So residents, this is more for you. Please stop watering. I mean, my yard couldn't be any browner.
It'll grow back.
So it's just grass. It will come back.
The Burlington Sculpture Park keeps growing, but the work is complete for the year of 2022, which was celebrated with an ice cream social for the community. BNEWS reporter John Vias was there and has this report.
Throughout the year of 2022, the Burlington Sculpture Park has grown significantly. The town's home for outdoor three-dimensional art held a celebration for park visitors with balloon animals, Wegmans ice cream, and of course, an opportunity to admire all the sculptures brought to the park from artists around town and around the world.
Today's event is just a celebration that we were able to achieve this, that we have all these beautiful new sculptures, and we wanted everyone in town to come out and see them. 2022 was a really big year for us because it was our second installation. And all of the sculptures are new except for a couple of them. We're really excited about them, and the community has really embraced them. I think everyone loves how colorful and vibrant the park is, and we couldn't be happier with the different mix of mediums and the different artists that we've been able to connect with.
From the Burlington Sculpture Park, this is John Vias for BNEWS Weekly.
Burlington's leadership in biotech and healthcare keeps growing. Leahy Hospital and Medical Center and UMass Chan Medical School have signed a letter of intent to explore establishing a regional medical campus that would help train, develop, and support the next generation of healthcare leaders. Based at Leahy, the new regional medical campus would be home to an innovative medical education program with a special focus on leadership, health system science, and interprofessional education. Medical students learning and training at Leahy Hospital and Medical Center would follow the core curriculum of the T.H. Chan School of Medicine at UMass and complete their third-year clerkship rotations and the majority of their fourth-year rotations under the supervision of Leahy faculty and specialty-specific clerkship site directors. Pending the successful completion of discussions and a formal agreement to establish the regional campus, as well as accreditation by the Liaison Committee on Medical Education, it is anticipated that the first UMass Chan Leahy students would start in the summer of 2024. The second annual BHS All Skills Volleyball is a week-long program where students in grades 6 through 10 learn the basic skills of the game. BNews Sports reporter Robert Paris has this report.
It is time to hit and serve as BHS Volleyball held their second all-skills volleyball camp inside the Vanilla Gymnasium.
We have a great turnout, a lot of kids enthusiastic about the program. The other side in our rubber gym, we also have more kids playing, so this is a good group of kids. Learning the skills and playing with each other and just figuring out how to put the game together. We're only on day 3 and they're already putting a lot of the skills together, which is really great, and hopefully by tomorrow they're playing 6v6 and excited to play more volleyball in the future.
Theo Visco, a member of the boys varsity team, came down to help out the kids learning volleyball for the first time.
So I started volleyball last year at the high school. It was our first year and I really enjoyed it. So I've been out here trying to help these new kids out here learn to love the game like I learned to love it last year. They really like getting into the game, you know, playing. It's more fun for them to be active than just like sitting around at home. So it's really exciting to see them like happy and energetic when they're playing.
We had a chance to speak with one of the participants and how they are enjoying their time on the court.
I've been learning how to serve better and just like skills in general. The kids here are super nice, the coaches are really nice, and I feel like it's just a very friendly community.
I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Sports.
Burlington Police Chief Thomas Brown said in a release that he is pleased to share that the Burlington Police Department hosted a successful de-escalation training class that was held in 3-hour sessions on August 11th and 18th. The training was free and offered to public safety partners at the Burlington Police Station. Attendees included security from the Burlington Mall, Winchester Hospital, and Copley Place Mall in Boston. Brown said training covered de-escalation tactics and active shooter scenarios, both taught by Lieutenant Glenn Mills, and basic autism recognition for first responders taught by Officer Stephen Papagno. Chief Brown said the goal of the training was to teach security personnel, those who are interacting with the public typically before police departments arrive, the importance of evaluating instead of reacting in high-pressure situations. De-escalation can be used during any part of public safety jobs. Starting a conversation, communicating in intense situations, and keeping a calm and patient demeanor and composure can make a significant difference in making everyone feel safe. In the latest edition of Burlington History Uncovered, Burlington Historical Commission's Peter Coppola talks about the book Home Life in Colonial Days by Alice Morse Earle. Let's check it out.
As informative as you might think social media is, and as knowledgeable as you might think historical commissioners are, we do rely on a lot of older books for information. For example, this Home Life in Colonial Days was written by Alice Morse Earle. She was born in 1851. So when she tells us stories, they're firsthand stories. They're things that she actually did herself, people she actually knew who did these things. So when we talk about how did they cook, what did they use for implements, how did they use a spinning wheel, we got the first-hand information and photographs from people who actually did it. And that is a lot more informative than something you would get on social media. So we go scouring the used bookstores, we find these books, and we put them in the library at the museum.
We go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown for a look at the forecast for the week ahead, hopefully some rain. We'll also check out the community calendar with Gretchen Carey to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone, this is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the next 7 days. Here we are heading into the very end of August. Actually, next Thursday is, I know it's hard to say it, September 1st, so the first day of meteorological fall actually begins at the end of our period. And I know for those of you who love the warm weather, it's kind of a sad time for us here as summer is starting to fade away, but we still have some great weather in store. So as we start out a period, on Friday we're going to be seeing again those typical hot and humid conditions we've been seeing for most of August and actually most of this summer now. Temperatures are going to be way up in the upper 80s to around 90. That trend is going to cool down a bit as we head into the weekend and then ramp right up as we head in towards the start of the work week with temperatures getting way back up into the 90s again. Now as we get towards the end of the period, our average highs at this time of the year, again starting out in September, still should be in the low 80s, and we're actually going to be a little bit cooler than that, I think, as we head towards the end of the period. And of course, as you notice, as we head towards fall, our days keep getting shorter and shorter. In fact, we've lost almost 2 hours of daylight since the start of summer. I know it's hard to believe, but that's definitely a sign of the times. So as we go ahead, let's take a look at what the Climate Prediction Center is calling for us here in the Burlington area in terms of temperatures and precipitation. Looking at our temperature map again, nothing too surprising. We're expecting average to probably above average temperatures again, very typical of what we've been seeing for the past couple of months here in the Burlington area. Now looking at our precipitation chances, They're calling for us to have maybe above average precipitation. Not sure how that's really going to play out again. Looks like it's going to be more on the chance of spotty showers and thunderstorms. In fact, some areas south of Boston over this past week saw nearly 7 to 8 inches of rain, but unfortunately here in the Burlington area, we saw less than 3/10 of an inch. So if you have any well water out there at all, I know your wells are getting really, really low out there, and unfortunately, it looks like that trend is going to continue as we go through the next period. So as well, let's take a look at that 7 days of weather coming up. And again, starting our period on Friday, we're going to be seeing temperatures above average in the upper 80s to around 90. A cold front's going to swing through, bringing the chance of maybe some showers and thunderstorms to the area and cooling us back down into the low 80s for the weekend with much drier conditions, unfortunately, out there. And as we go in and start the work week out, looks like those temperatures are going to ramp way back up into the low to maybe mid 90s as we get in towards Tuesday. And thereafter, it sees the pattern gets a little bit unsettled with maybe some more in the way of showers. Hopefully that brings us a little bit of beneficial rainfall here in the Burlington area, and temperatures by the end of the period taking a pretty good nosedive down into the mid and upper 70s with some really cool nights at the end of the period. So looks like fall is definitely on its way. So everyone, get out there, enjoy the weather, and have a great week.
Hi, I'm Amy Poehler, and you're watching BCAT. Go Red Devils.
Hey everyone, I'm Gretchen Carey, and this is your community calendar. On August 30th at 6:30 p.m., the Burlington Public Library will be having a virtual summer paint night for adults and teens. To register and for more information, go to burlingtonpubliclibrary.org. Also on August 30th, Red Devil football team will be having a fundraiser at the Chateau on Middlesex Turnpike. If you're planning to attend, let your server know that you're participating in the BHS football fundraiser. BHS football will receive 20% of total sales. On September 1st at 7 p.m., the Burlington Historical Society will be having an event featuring John Sachs as he performs More Songs and Other Things. The event is held at the Burlington Council on Aging. I'm Gretchen Carey, and that was your community calendar.
Well, you rarely hear a golfer begging for rain, but boy, do we surely need it. Another week, another photo to highlight. This week's photo features a brightly colored amphibian going about his day. It was sent in by Burlington resident Steve Moran and shows an orange salamander, or specifically an eastern newt that he saw while hiking up Mount Monadnock. The eastern newt is common in North America. It frequents small lakes, ponds, and streams or nearby wet forests. Thank you for the photo, Steve. We'd like to see your photos. They could be of your summer activities, family and pets, the weather outside your door, hopefully rain, or anything else you'd like to share. Email your photos to bcat@bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. And that's it from the news desk here at BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Rich Hosford, John Vias, Robert Paris, Peter Brown, and Gretchen Carey. Thank you for joining us.